boys, it's not a good morning, it's a great morning. I'm leaving the gym, 7:30 in the morning, leaving Lifetime today. I am going to train legs with one of my elite clients. He joined my coaching program at just about over 100,000 followers, and now he has close to 400,000. He was making $4,000 a month with 100,000 followers, and now he is making about 50, just bought his dream car. So I'm going to go link up with him. So if you're already a subscriber, stay tuned for that. It's going to be a sick video. He's got a tuned AMG. He bought it cash. So sick, proud of him. His name's Nathan Sages. You guys probably have seen his videos. But as I'm finishing up my cardio, something's really on my mind for this aggression talk. You know, I see a lot of people constantly trying to change the season, right? And I mean the seasons of life, not just winter, summer, fall, spring, right? But I mean the seasons of life, right? There's a winter, there's a summer, there's a fall, and there's a spring, you know, in the way that you feel mentally, in the way that your business performs, in the way that you perform, right? Within your health, within your relationships, right? It's always up and down. Life is a roller coaster, okay? But I say all the time, the potential energy that you gain on the way down is what allows you to go back up and climb up the other side, right? But a roller coaster where you sit at the top and just sit there, it might be a cool view, it might be nice, it might be exhilarating at first because you're still living off the high of going up. But if you sat there and kept sitting there and kept sitting there and kept sitting there, eventually you'd start to get worried, you'd start to get discouraged, right? Am I going to keep going up? Am I going to go down, right? That is what life is like. And a lot of people expect the roller coaster to go up once it's gone down and sit there. And they wonder why they wonder why they continue to have problems within their life. Well, newsflash for you, your life isn't always going to be up. Your success, your business, the money that you make is not always going to be up, okay? There's principles that you cannot out wrestle. You cannot out manage. You cannot, use force to get them to go away, okay? And as I'm leaving the gym this morning, this is something that I'm constantly thinking about because I've gone through so many ups and downs in my life to get to this point at 21 years old, right? There is no growth without difficulty, okay? There is no progress without pain. These are things that we've been hearing since we were children, but I think a lot of people fail to grasp what that actually means. And so I'm kind of analyzing how I have reacted to problems in the past and how I react to them now. And I hope that you can use this to really help yourself and develop a better mental framework when you're struggling with problems, when you're going through things that feel like they're insurmountable, and when you got used to being at the top and now you're crashing and you're falling down. And what most people tend to do, what the human brain tends to do, is the human brain tends to feed on emotions extremely hard, right? So that's why when you're winning, it feels like you keep on winning. And then when you're losing, it feels like your life continues to put obstacles in front of you. Your life continues to go downward. Your life continues to fall in this violent spiral. And it almost can seem like you're drowning no matter what you accomplished before. Trust me, I've been through it. I've had a point in my life where I make $60K a month. I've got my Lambo, I got my dream car, everything's great. And then all of a sudden, everything starts spiraling out of control. I've been through this cycle over and over and over and over again. I've worked at, I've worked at 9-to-5 jobs. I was working 3 9-to-5 jobs at one point. Almost every single place that I go that involves normal people working, I feel like I'm one of the only people who has money in this city of Miami who actually sympathizes. I had a TaskRabbit guy come over to my house the other day to install something, and we were talking, we were chopping it up and everything. And I was like, yeah, I used to do TaskRabbit, da-da-da. And he's like, man, yeah, people are like such dickheads. They do this, this, this. And I will say he didn't have the greatest personality, but I sympathized with him because I had been in that scenario. But the difference between me when I was in TaskRabbit, which if you don't know what TaskRabbit is, it's like an app. Oh my gosh, somebody just almost got in a wreck next to me. It's an app where you can kind of like hire or contract workers. So a lot of people will use it to like put together furniture, right? To put things together in their house, etc. And you can hire these people to move for you, whatever. It's kind of like Uber for workers, And so I noticed that he had this sense of like entitlement to the fact that he felt like he needed to be making more money. Maybe he felt like he shouldn't have been in that situation. I just sensed it coming off of him. And it just made me start to think about how when we are in a phase that we don't want to be in, it's almost impossible for our brain to think forward and think positive, because our human brain, especially as a man, is wired to go based off of results. I wake up in the morning, I feel bad. I miss my macros, right? I'm not making the money that I want in my business. I go to the gym and I'm using that negative energy to fuel my next actions, right? Unless you become aware of your thoughts and unless you become conscious of what's happening, that is what your brain is automatically going to do. And the only way to continue to be wildly successful, the only way to continue to push yourself and separate yourself so far from the competition that people think that you're an anomaly and you just got there by luck, is to take every negative emotion and look at it as a pleasurable experience towards building skill. Now, there's nothing that you can do and there's no way to make it feel good. And I'll go right now and I'll say, if you're analyzing your life and you're like, man, I'm going through such a rough time, but you take a breath and you're like, man, it's not really that bad. That's how you can know the challenges that you're facing and what you're actually going to get on the other side. I've been through times where I'm literally like, it is all over. It is all over. And then what happens is I start to act through that thought process. I'm acting as if it's all over. I'm doing cardio and it's all over. I have no pep in my step. I'm talking to connections that could be business connections, that could be that next step that's gonna take me to the next level, and they feel that energy in my head of it's all over. And so many people go through life like this every single day, and they don't have the ability to self-analyze and be like, why am I acting like this? Or why do I keep feeling like this? And there's a principle in one of my favorite books called Reality Transurfing, right? When you force too hard what you want to happen, or when you think too much about all the difficult things that are happening to you, life steps in and it starts to serve that narrative harder, right? The perception that you view life with, life will feed it back to you. It is a boomerang, right? And so, are there going to be problems in your life regardless? Absolutely. But there are a multitude of problems that happen that are just compounded by the view that you have on your life. Trust me. Maybe you're not making a lot of money in your business. Fine. Let's say that's a problem that would happen no matter how perfect or how dialed you were. But then your car breaks down. And then your girlfriend breaks up with you. And then, the bills are late all of a sudden. And then you have a random charge on top of your rent that you have to pay. And then, maybe the business that you're scaling, the small business, maybe your coaching business, a customer charges back. A customer is unhappy. All of these different things happen. You will start to let those feed further future actions that are negative because life throws you back the perception that you have. So if you're viewing these problems as little jabs, little cuts that are stabbing you and they're breaking you down and they're keeping you from success, you're going to continue to spiral into a version of you that is unsuccessful. Your actions will compound massively the same way success compounds. The opposite is also true. Failure compounds extremely rapidly because you can travel down way faster than you can travel up, okay? So what I've learned to do in every every single facet of life, whether it's with my physique, whether it's with a relationship, whether it's with my family, my business partner, my clients, right? How much money I'm making, my car, right? My car was just in the shop for 3 months for the stupidest things ever. And I kept just feeding it all this energy. Oh, this shop is terrible. They're messing these things up. They're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this. When in reality, instead of putting the negativity on the world, oh, it's the world's fault, it's this external fault, I should have put the focus on, maybe I should have chose a different shop. Maybe I should have done a little bit more research. Maybe I should have asked around a little bit more before going to the first shop. Now, I ended up taking it to another shop, and what took the other shop 3 months to do, and they actually messed my car up even worse, this shop did in 1 day. Shout out my boys at CV Customs. If you're in Miami and you have an exotic car, take your car to CV Customs. My boy Chris will get you right. Fucking G, right? But that was my own fault. That wasn't the world's fault. That wasn't the world raining fire and brimstone down on me because my car's in the shop for 3 months just to get a PPF. It was simply my fault, right? But more and more problems started to arise out of that, because of the negative energy that I was putting into it. And that is such a first world problem. Oh my gosh, my supercar is in the shop for 3 months. I get it, right? But I've had the exact same thing happen with my $5,000 Acura TL. I've had that happen when I didn't even have a car. Had that happen when I totaled one of my cars when I was 16 because I was driving high in the middle of school. All these different things, okay? And so you have to understand that your brain is going to feed the emotions. Your job is not to dictate which emotions come up. You can't really do that. Your brain chemistry is just going to act on its own human nature. Your job is to take captive of that thought and change how you react to the emotion. That is all you can do. That is all you can do, especially if you're in the midst of trying to build your online coaching business. If you can't even control and change your own emotions, how in the world are you going to help control and change someone else's? Think about it. If you're in the midst of building some type of business, maybe it's not a coaching business, something online, drop shipping, e-commerce, maybe you're stupid enough to get into trading while you have no capital, right? Whatever you're doing, your emotions are going to happen regardless, but the only thing that dictates your success is how do you react to the emotions? Do you take captive of them? And do you change them in your mind? That is the superpower of the complete man. The complete man is able to react based on how he desires to change the emotion to benefit his goal, rather than how the emotion wants him to react. If you're waking up every single day, let's go back to the girlfriend analogy. I like to use this one because sometimes I can feel like, the first couple of weeks, you can feel like there's nothing that feels worse than that. It doesn't matter if you're a 45-year-old man, you just got divorced. Like, it literally doesn't matter what it is. I understand the feeling of waking up and literally as soon as you open your eyes, having thoughts of that person and feeling like you're sick to your stomach immediately. It's very difficult to go through your day feeling like that and attack the day, have intensity, right? Have positivity, be able to push energy into other people when you're constantly in that negative mindset. But your job is not to react based on how the emotion feels. Your job is to take that, change it, right? It's like Isaac Newton was a physicist, but he was also an alchemist, right? What goes up must come down. There are gravitational principles, and there are also the same principles that apply within your mind, right? An object in motion stays in motion. An object at rest stays at rest. It takes more energy to get the object at rest to get into motion, right? You can change the things that you have, but most people, they haven't become thought alchemists. They have not become a thought alchemist. And they wonder why are all these people on social media successful? Why are there 21-year-olds driving Ferraris home from the gym at 8 in the morning while everyone else is on the way to their 9-to-5 traffic? What's the difference? I am a thought alchemist, okay? So when I wake up and I have the feeling that I want to throw up because I'm not in the relationship with that girl anymore, whatever example that you want to use, I don't look at that as damaging me. I look at that as sculpting me. Immediately, I just changed the thought. I just reverted the emotion from negative into positive. Because you got to understand, emotions are, energy and motion, right? So, energy, positive, negative. Your mind is the most special tool because it's the converter that can change the energy from negative to positive. Most people, though, they just accept what the emotion is served up with. So if we have both of these emotions, girlfriend left you, wife divorced you, wife cheated, something happened, right? Business is failing, making no money, rent's due in 10 days. You either look at it as the face value that it's served with, that life is trying to bring you down with, the negativity, or you look at it as the skill building opportunity that life is trying to build you up with. Rent's due in 10 days. I don't have the money. I'm terrified. But my goal is to be a CEO of a $10 million company one day. And what if I get in a position where, we're having a bad month? I've got to pay my employees out of pocket. And, maybe you live in a big old house. Your mortgage is $20,000 a month. Just picture it, right? We're talking about your dream life. Your mortgage is $20,000 a month. And, man, you're getting low. You're scared about having to pay that mortgage. Now, that would be financially irresponsible to have a, $20,000 mortgage and you get to the point where you might not be able to pay it, right? But scenario. It's building you in this small scenario in order to be who you want to be in the larger scenario. Because if you can't survive with a $3,000 rent payment over your head that's due in 10 days and your business is not doing good or you're going to be late on rent, how are you going to survive when the pressure is 10 times as much? And that simple switch just changed it from life's trying to bring me down into, wait a second, life thinks I do deserve that goal. It's just testing me to build that skill and see if I'm actually worth being put in that position. Because the more of those problems you can overcome, the more of those negative thought patterns that you can turn positive. Are you following me? The more of those negative thought patterns that you can turn positive, the more skill you're building within yourself to get you closer to the goal man that you are trying to become. And so people go through life complaining, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Wait a second. I thought you wanted $10 million and a ranch with your wife and kids and 3 supercars. But you're complaining about the difficulty that life's trying to give you to build you the skills so you can become that man, so you can be in that position? Where's the logic? You got to start looking at it as, oh my gosh, I've got another problem to solve. Because without those problems, brother, you're not going to get to that position. You realize that, right? Without those problems, you're not getting to that position. So you should be thankful. Be thankful for those problems, because otherwise you're like the rest of these people running around like a chicken with their head cut off, who are employee slave-minded, who need a boss to tell them when to go to the bathroom, when to take a 2-week vacation, right? If they're going to get paid time off or not. Well, you got a bonus for being a good boy. Why? Because they just want a life that's predictable. So what happens? They get a predictable job, they get a predictable routine, and they have a predictable outcome. But brother, you're looking for an extraordinary outcome. So would it not make sense that you're going to have to go through extraordinary measures, extraordinary pain, extraordinary amounts of difficulty to build you into the man that can? Is it starting to make sense? Are you starting to understand me? This is what makes you elite. Can you smile through pain because you know that the pain is not taken away, rather it's filling you up with what you're trying to become? Every single situation, it doesn't matter how horrible. Are you going to be a thought alchemist, or are you going to let a little thought, a little emotion, a little chemical in your brain destroy you? Because you let it seep in. You let it take root within your mind. It's like a cancer. It spreads to everything you do. Your tonality, your energy, your positivity, your goals, this negativity, it turns into a cancer and it spreads. And people can feel it. And opportunities stop coming your way. And connections stop being available in your life. And the problem that was supposed to allow you to become the ultimate problem solver has now turned into the small little dagger in your back that completely destroyed your entire legacy that you were supposed to build. So I ask you this morning, what are you going to let the emotion do? Are you going to let it take root within you? Or are you going to realize that every single negative thought is thrown to you, not to destroy you, but for you to look at it, realize who you are, contrast your goals, and say, huh, this ain't a problem. This is a training exercise. This ain't a problem. This is a training exercise. Rent's due in 10 days. I'm not going to die. Okay, miss rent. Credit score goes down, right? You have an extra 5 days to pay, right? Worst case scenario, they give you 10 days and then, you get evicted. That sucks. It sucks. I've been there almost before, plenty of times. I had a $1,400 rent like 2 years ago. Now my rent's like $10,000, which is kind of retarded, but I'm just staying here till I move in a big fat crib soon. But I'm 21 and just living in a huge crib by myself. It'll be interesting. We'll see. But okay, you miss your rent. Get evicted. The depth of your struggle determines the height of your success. It does suck, but if you think about it right now, you're not going to die. The chances of you being homeless are very, very low. Like homeless to the point where like you can't eat and you're sleeping under a bridge and you become a crack addict, right? Like, do you really have such low confidence in yourself that you think that would happen? Because I bet on myself. 2.5 years, 3 years ago, I was like, you know what? Worst case scenario, I really don't feel like there's any possible way that I would accept being homeless. And if that doesn't happen, I may not like my scenario, I may not have the cars that I want, I may not have the success that I want, but in all honesty, all I need is to be able to show up every day and play the game again. That's all I need, is to be able to show up and play the game again. If I can eat, if I can sleep, if I can share my inspiration with the world, all I have to do is play the game. If I can go to the gym, if I can train myself mentally, I don't need to be rich. My goal is to be rich, but I don't need it now. If it takes 5 years, I'm willing to wait 5 years. And because of that, because I was willing to wait, because I was willing to spread out the time, it was given to me because I released the outcome. I looked at every single problem as it's building me. It's keeping me from being who I don't want to be. Because every single problem that you have, again, builds your skill. So you can look at it, and I'll close with this. You can look at it as it's trying to destroy you, and it will. It will destroy you. The littlest thing will come in your life like you just spread and it'll destroy you. Or you can have a very predictable, very ordinary, very contemporary life with no ups and downs. And maybe you maintain that your entire life. But to me, that's more of a hell. That's more of a hell. Every single day, mundane, the exact same thing is going to happen. No stress. Nothing sitting in here that could take you down. That is where a man's soul goes to die. Because as humans, our brain is wired, our nervous system is wired for comfort. But our soul yearns for growth. Our soul yearns for progress. And that is where the age-old dynamic, that age-old battle that happens in between and inside of us that causes most people to fall into mediocrity. That's what it is. It causes most people to fall into mediocrity because your soul yearns for growth, but your nervous system is wired for comfort. And you're not willing to go through the extreme battles it takes to push yourself out of that comfort zone. Because guess what? If there's any ounce of comfort around you that you can easily accept, your nervous system, you can't beat it. But when you let your soul take over, when you put yourself in a position where you don't know what you're going to do, you don't know what the outcome is going to be, and you don't know how you're going to get out, that's when your soul starts to take over. And that's when you really start to show yourself what's deep inside. That's when you really start to show yourself what you're capable of. And that is when life truly starts to change for the better. And I'll say this right now, that doesn't mean that the problems go away. You just start to learn how to handle them. And from that point on, you're able to take every problem, turn it into a skill building asset, and you no longer fear them. In fact, you actually anticipate them. Ooh, my life's getting good. The problems are coming. Problems are coming. I might seem like a maniac, but I am. And you know what I love? You know what clients I love? I love clients who are maniacs. They love the problems because they figured this out. They realize that money is a tool. It's an energy flow. You guys look at it like it's your little hoard. Oh, I have to keep it. I can't deploy it against an investment. I can't invest in a mentor. I can't invest in, oh, I have to keep it. And then what happens? Life just starts to pick it away. Little problems. Boom, 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 boom. Why? Because you're not a good steward of it. I invested tens of thousands of dollars before I ever ripped a $60,000 a month. Some of it was a waste, but every single dollar I spent, I learned something. Every single dollar I spent, I learned something. This is a pretty cool morning if you ask me. I'm 21 years old. I watched everyone going to work earlier, leaving the gym. This is my morning. Guys, please, whatever you do not let problems overcome you. Think about the laws of physics that apply within your mind. Conscious alchemy. Start to turn those problems into positive assets. Your life will change for the better. I love you guys. If you watch all the way through this video, and if you have any type of online business, or if you're looking to scale a coaching business from a skill that you have, whether it be fitness, real estate, whether you have an agency, you do trading and you want to teach that to other people and learn how to monetize a personal brand, you don't need a crazy physique. You don't need some insane mindset. You just need to be willing to learn, be willing to solve problems, and you have to be willing to put yourself out there and post. I have one of the most successful, and when I say successful, I don't mean money that I've made. I mean money that I've made for my clients and testimonials that I have. I have one of the most successful coaching businesses in the world. You can click the first link in my bio. I give out a free thought I was getting pulled over right there. I give out a free 8-hour course where I drop so much value. You can click the first link in the bio, and if you want, you can jump on a call with my team and see if you're a good fit, or you can shoot me a message on Instagram. I answer all my DMs. I'll even shoot you a voice memo. But please, only message me if you're looking to scale your business. Don't just message me to tell me that you quit your weed addiction, right? Because, I'm probably going to yell at you and tell you to get right. So, I love you guys. More aggression talks coming. Vlogs coming later today with Nathan. As always, in a world full of weak-minded people, stay aggressive. I love you boys.